Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In this video, we've got Michael A. and Danielle M., and it looks like their relationship is coming to an end as far as social media is concerned. She has deleted all evidence of Michael on her grid, which is what the kids refer to as her Instagram, her grid, right? And then Michael doesn't have any of content with Danielle other than a couple reels from 33 weeks ago. So all the kids out there are saying it's kaputs, which is content we've been saying for about a month now. Now, Michael was on the She's All Batch podcast where he said he was keeping his relationship private. I'll share exactly what he said then and some of the speculation right now. Do me a solid, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I got the same username, DNeals, on both. Patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content, which we've talked about this on Patreon. There are plenty of times where there's a relationship that's ended and we don't really have the information to report it or whatever, and we'll just discuss those things on the Patreon. I highly suggest you join there. I'm actually live right now with the Patreon, so let's do a solid. This is what we like to do. For all of my Patreon people watching right now, give me a word to say, and I'm going to work it into this video, and we'll have fun with that. Okay, and also, don't forget, every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. Oh, that's not Danielle and Michael. That's the new bromance heard around the world. Jason Tartick with Joey, the new Bachelor, and he actually met Joey beforehand, and I think when Joey was reached out to by whoever to be on the show, Jason went to the casting and said, hey, get this guy on. He's good. Well, he was so good, they nominated him to be the Bachelor after his time on charity season of Bachelorette. Didn't work out, and here he is. So there they are. Jason said, when your buddy tells you he's going on the Bachelorette and then becomes the Bachelor, get great times with the tennis pro at the U.S. Open. And look, it doesn't take a vampire to realize that you'd want to suck the blood out of these two. I mean, they're looking pretty good. They always say the tortoise wins over the hare, but right now they both have great hair. You know, the hair always wins in my book. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Jason is a vampire. It was this in the daylight. I mean, he's got the vampire hair, but that's okay. It's all right, you know. No one was bamboozled in the making of these bros. They look pretty good. All right, we're gonna get into the Michael story. So the last time we saw Danielle on Michael's grid was 34 weeks ago.
Testament of like love and of a relationship is when you walk into a room with your partner and you know that everybody's looking at her. And with this one, like there's a level of just admiration and respect that I have for her. And, you know, it's like there's no bigger prize than to actually have somebody that, you know, you respect on a high level. You know, you have that friendship and, you know, they can make you better as a person too.
Now, rather than have some giant spectacle about the relationship ending or whatever, they're forcing us to do some barrel scraping when it comes to, you know, really feeling out what happened here. They didn't quite make it to Christmas. No jingle bells in the world of the Michael and Danielle fans here. There's no Christmas gifts between the two, as far as we know. I mean, maybe they just wanted to clean up their Instagrams. Could it be? Do we need the X-Files music? Because could it be possible? Is it hogwash to believe that maybe they just did this for attention and they're happily together? That would be a janky opinion in my books. It looks like they're done. And it looks like they're following the Brendan Moraes Piper sort of playbook of not even announcing their breakup, which is perfectly fine in my world. Perfectly fine in my world. Look, you don't have to live in Madagascar, which, by the way, is a beautiful place. I think Blake Moynes is in Madagascar right now. But you don't have to live in Madagascar to be out of the loop here. We're literally there. She moved to Cleveland, right? Or Ohio, some janky city. I'm kidding. We love Ohio. But she moved there for him. And I don't blame her. You know what I mean? Like, it's important that she tries to pursue the relationship and see what it's all about. That's what you have to do. I mean, they met on some beautiful paradise. Could they make it work in real life? Well, let's go over. So here's Danielle's page. This was paradise 74 weeks ago. Can you believe it? It was actually not last year. It was the year before. That was a good season of paradise, right? Well, there is no mention whatsoever of Michael A. since then. And I mean, there was pin posts and this and that. So look, we can kind of assume that it is over, but here's what he had to say just a few weeks ago with the She's All Batch podcast regarding their relationship status.
The internet speculation. I see it on your Instagram. Yeah. You post a photo and people are questioning, where is Danielle? What is the status of you and Danielle?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Being in a public relationship, it isn't fun. And Danielle and I both agree that the only people that should be in our relationship are us two. And so we think just the healthiest way to have a relationship is to keep it private. And we both love each other, very much.
I believe him when he says they both love each other. I also believe they were broken up when he said that. But you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. What if they were on a break and they wanted to try to regain their identity and who they are and see if they can make it work? What do you tell someone when they ask? Do you tell them the truth? Hey, we're on a break, and then people start, and then you have to stress about all this news? Or do you just tell a white lie and say, we love each other and we're going to keep it private, and then maybe a month later they end up breaking up? You know what I mean? I don't know. What to say other than it's over. The relationship's over as far as I'm concerned. Whether they make a statement or an announcement will be up to them. They both seem like good people. They've both dealt with loss in their life, of course. Michael lost his wife to a bout of cancer, and Danielle lost her fiance due to drug addiction, to an overdose. She said she wasn't even aware that he was addicted to anything, but he died of an overdose, which is tragic. It's very tragic. Some people have said, well, maybe, because, this is what happens. Oh, they're broken up. Well, who can we ship them with now? That whole bogus barrel scraping thing that we do there. But maybe Danielle could be with Zac Clark, who, of course, was engaged to Tayshia Adams, which did not work out. And who knows? I mean, look, it's obviously too early to speculate. Maybe she just wants to be in the non-Bachelor world. But Zac Clark was speaking at an event right here, and I want you guys to listen to what he has to say. His post said this: when I walked into the PNC Bank in Camden, New Jersey in late August of 2011 with a stolen check, desperate for my next high, Rhonda Jackson had three choices. She chose kindness, and I am alive because of that. And then comments from Caitlin Bristow said, thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Zac, for now being a Rhonda and helping others. Do we have it within ourselves to be a Rhonda? Let's listen to the story of Zac's and find out the character behind this lady, Rhonda.
And I walked into that bank, and there was a bank teller there, and her name is Rhonda Jackson. And Rhonda Jackson saved my life, because at that moment, Rhonda Jackson had three choices. She could have given me the money, and she could have kept just working and acted like nothing happened, right? And I could have walked out of that bank, and who knows? I'd say I probably had about a week left to live. She could have called the cops and had me arrested for faking a check. Or she could have done what she did, which is she called my dad, because she saw me and she saw someone that was hurting. I love you, Rhonda. Thank you for saving my life. Truly. I love you. And it's kind of like this thing I carry out into the world, right? Be a Rhonda Jackson. Be a Rhonda. Be a good person. And I walked into that bank.
And that was a speech. He just posted this an hour ago. He said, thank you, Rhonda, for saving my life and not judging me. And thank you, Camden County, New Jersey, for inviting me to share some of my story at the annual Remembrance and Hope Vigil in my hometown county. Now, look, Zac suffered from addiction, and the conversation about Michael and Danielle is over. But with regards to Zac here, we need to stop treating people who do criminal behavior as criminals. Now you might say, what are you talking about, Dave? Someone did something wrong, but there's always a route to why someone does something wrong. What if someone steals bread because their family can't afford to eat? Is that a wrong thing to do? Well, maybe in the eyes of the law, it's wrong, but maybe they're doing what's best for their family. Jean Valjean, right? And then we have maybe Zac Clark. He's high and he's got a pain addiction. Well, why does he have that pain addiction? Is it in part because of people like the greedy billionaire family of the Sacklers who, pay people that work in the FDA to approve pain-killing medication and say it's non-addictive when it really is? I mean, we live in a world where we're so worried about what's right and wrong, what's rioting, what's this, when we need to all link arms and realize we are being so royally effed by greed that comes from corporations, in this case, the pharmaceutical world. Our country, the land of the free here, is just, we have our balls in a vice clamp by lobbyists, people like the pharmaceutical industry, which essentially will take someone at the FDA, get them to do their bidding, lie to people's faces, and then give them a 6, 7, 8-figure salary the second they retire. We see this nonstop in the financial world. We see it in the pharmaceutical world. It exists in the medical community. It exists all over, where we are not being, the sugar industry, the sugar industry literally made us believe that fats were bad when they were just jacking up sugar. And now we have a crisis where we have the worst health in first world countries because of corporations trying to maximize profits. Zac is a victim of that. So we need to change the way we look at people. And Zac says, be a Rhonda, which I could completely agree with. And I say, be a Zac. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to have more content today on the podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. That'll do it for me. I'm flying tonight to the East Coast, so I'll be jet lagged, but I will be with you guys tomorrow with my mobile studio setup. That's it for me. I'll see you all later. Be kind.